Good morning, Blue Jays. Let's begin with a poem. All of you should have a card. If you didn't pass them down the aisle, please do so. And those are yours to keep. When Giving is All We Have, by Alberto Rios. The poem begins with the epigraph, "One river gives its journey to the next." We give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We have been better for it. We have been wounded by it. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big though small, diamond in wood nails. Its story is old, the plot worn in the pages too, but we read this book anyway, over and over again. Giving is, first and foremost, first and every time, hand to hand. Mine to yours, yours to mine. You gave me blue, and I gave you yellow. And together, we are simple green. You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together, we made something greater from the difference. In his kind introduction, Mr. Murphy noted my leadership in the alumni part of this drive. I guess I would consider myself an organizer, a planner, not so sure about leader. But as the epigraph of the poem notes, one river gives its journey to the next. The river that gave its journey to me and continues to nourish me with his example of service is my predecessor as alumni director, Brother Dardis. I did not create this alumni part of the Thanksgiving drive. Perhaps Brother Dardis did. All I know is that 17 years ago, when I assumed this position, Brother Dardis was already begging. Yes, literally begging for the food items for the alumni baskets. The food items for the 180 families that the Alumni Association takes care of add up to nearly $7,000. That's a lot of begging. When a group of alumni from the 1980s heard about this, they created a mini drive to cover the $7,000 and relieve Brother of his need to beg. Alumni embraced the Thanksgiving drive in so many ways. That turkey you will hand to someone in just about an hour or so is a gift from the class of 1983. This year, providing 522 turkeys. Individual alumni classes have adopted families to feed. The class of 2007, 25 families. The class of 2002, 15 families. The class of 2013, 10 families. And there are others. Alumni take off of work to organize and deliver baskets to needy families. For our alumni, the Thanksgiving drive was and continues to be an important part of their formation. But first and foremost, the Thanksgiving drive is a student drive. It is your drive, started in at least 1927 and passed on through the years down to you here in 2018. Remember, one river gives its journey to the next. And it is a significant part of your formation. It's an occasion for which we like to roll out our motto, men for others. The call to be a person who looks outside himself to comfort the other is nothing less than the call to be holy men of God. To achieve this, though, we have to deal with the inherent problem of social versus the personal. This drive is a large communal effort. More than 1,360 of us here right now in this chapel work together in a very organized way toward a very laudable goal. We divide into committees. We bring in different food items. We shop. We pack the boxes. We pray. We deliver our gift to the families. And hopefully, we reflect on what we just did. But this communal act can obscure the ultimate two-part goal of enhancing the life of someone in need and enhancing our own lives. As the poet Alberto Rios says in his poem, "Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big though small, diamond in the wood nails." I suggest we use today's big, loud act to consider the small, quiet acts that our faith demands of us. Small acts that will not roll around once a year, but will populate our daily lives. Numerous small acts of generosity that, as I said, are doing nothing less than forming us as holy men. In his most recent apostolic exhortation, Gaudete et Exultate, or Rejoice and Be Glad, Pope Francis urges us not to think that holiness is only for those who can withdraw from ordinary affairs to spend time in prayer. Pope Francis says, "We are called to be holy men, by living our lives with love and by bearing witness in everything we do, wherever we find ourselves. Be holy by working for the common good and renouncing personal gain." And Pope Francis continues, "This holiness to which the Lord calls you will grow through small gestures." Here is an example. A woman goes shopping. She meets a neighbor, and they begin to speak, and the gossip starts. But she says in her heart, "Nope, I will not speak badly of anyone." This is a step forward in holiness. Later at home, one of her children wants her to talk about his hopes and dreams. And even though she is tired, she sits down and listens with patience and love. That is another sacrifice that brings holiness. Later, she experiences some anxiety, but recalling the love of the Virgin Mary, she takes her rosary and prays with faith. Yet another path of holiness. Later still, she goes out onto the street, encounters a poor person, and stops to say a kind word to him. One more step. So I ask you, how, on a daily basis, are you engaging in small acts of kindness to the other? What suffering do you see in the other? A classmate, a friend, a family member, a stranger? What suffering do you see that calls for a response from you? Is it loneliness, or separation, or anxiety, or loss, or sickness, or failure of some sort? Is it abuse, or persecution, or mental illness, or poverty, or confusion? And what gifts of yours will you use to relieve that suffering? Your intelligence, your smile, your physical strength, your empathy, your verbal skills, your work ethic? So yes, today's drive is large and loud, but if we distill this large communal act down to its core element, if we remove all the trappings, the coffee and breakfast at Robards, the checkout line, the flurry of activity in the schoolyard, then we are left with the basic, beautiful spark of divinity in all of us, the capacity to give. Again, the poet Rios puts it this way: giving is, first in every time, hand to hand. Mine to yours, yours to mine. Today, you will extend your hand to someone in need. To whom will you extend your hand tomorrow, or the next day, or the next? Some of you will have a great experience today, soothing the pain of a person or family really in need. For others, the experience may not be so rewarding. The recipients of your generosity may be needy, but not so appreciative. Or they may be appreciative, but not very needy. You may question the validity of your recipient's need. And at the same time, others may encourage you to use this less than rewarding experience to jump into the world of stereotypes, judgments, mockery, intolerance for differences, and even hatred. I encourage you to avoid this thinking. I assure you, this type of thinking will only lead to a lifetime of unhappiness. So I urge you that as you go through each stage of this wonderful endeavor, you do it deliberately, thinking of the act at each step, thinking of the other's need, and being thoughtful of your capacity to help, to heal, to soothe. Remember, giving is a collaborative effort. The recipient of your generosity is giving just as much as he or she is receiving. Consider the poem's ending. You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together, we made something greater from the difference. Consider that in our act of giving, one hand to a very different hand, together we are creating something greater, something more beautiful, something that is the manifestation of God's love for us, something that is AMDG, for the greater glory of God. Thank you.